This is entitled How to Buy the Greatest Violin on eBay, but that's really clickbait. I'm going to acknowledge that buying a violin on eBay is a gamble. And so if you don't have another instrument you really love, or two or five or 100, if you're not able to absorb maybe the loss of $800, you spend $800 on a violin, and it turns out not to be great, and they don't have a return policy, and it won't kill you because you've got others. There's a couple more floating around here, plus the one on the wall. You know, buy from a music store, a real music store, like one of the commenters on that eBay violin. Now, they'll repeat, when I bought this one, it needed to be sent to the violin maker because it was not in playing condition. It needed a new bridge made, needed the sound post made and placed, it needed this, that, and other thing, new pegs. Paid $495 for this gamble violin, but not so much of a gamble because I do believe had faith. You can't always have faith because the violin business is a dirty business, that it was made in the 1850s in France, in Paris, or Miracourt. I didn't know. But the guy offered me my money back. He said, if you don't like it, just return it. He was a good seller. This one, by a seller, DeWiz, who is a real violin broker. You know, if he says it's a stunning violin that's ready to play, and that it's got a powerful tone, you can believe him. DeWiz does not have a return policy, but he is honest as all get out. All auctions, with rare exceptions, so you might get in a bidding war and spend up to $1,000, but it is what it is. What about the people like I was, you know, up till about 10 years ago? You don't have the ability, or you don't want to, or you don't even know how to play the violin, and you don't want to spend a bunch of money. But $300 really, in my opinion, and I'm going to say I'm right on this, is about the cheapest you can get a good violin that you're going to be happy with for a period of time. Once you get over just learning basic fingerings, you're going to start picking up that, oh, this violin makes people in the house, other people, mad. They don't like me playing it. The tone doesn't really grab me. And so you need to find a reliable place to buy a lower cost violin. I can tell you from experience that working with Shar Instruments, probably the biggest seller of violin family instruments in the US, probably Canada, probably the entire darn world, is a good place. They have violin makers working there. They set everything up beautifully. They are not going to send you a violin that is unplayable, that doesn't have good strings on it, it doesn't have good setup. It's just, you can count on Shar. I don't buy new. I will very rarely buy a new instrument just because I like the fact that you play them and they sound better. And plus, you pay less for a used instrument. Well, the Franz Hofmann series of violins, student level Shar instruments, are good. They are punching way above their weight level. I personally, my first good violin was a Shar Franz Hofmann concert series. And it had the most amazing figuring on its one-piece maple back. Really nice table. Good setup, good strings, everything. It was ready to go, and it came with a bow that was nice. I still have the bow. It needs rehairing, but it's a $49 or $50 bow, and it costs $70 to rehair, so do the math. Wonderful instrument. I wound up selling it to somebody. I was in an orchestra for a while, believe it or not, as a violist, because I was a violin player, but they already had enough violins that they needed a violist. So, hey, I'm going to buy a viola. I bought one at Shar. I picked a group of them out, including a Carlo Lamberti Tertis, which was, I think, at the time, a $4,000 viola. And I wound up getting an Otto Ernst Fischer Bianca because it sounded better than that. I actually had them send a Bianca, the one below the Bianca, and the Tertis, and I love the Bianca. So I went another step. I said, sent them all three back and said, Well, no, I kept the Bianca, sent the other two back, and had them send a couple more Biancas and played them for a while and picked the one that I liked best. And it happened to have been the first one that came to me. So Char does send you stuff so you can listen to it, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. They might not do that for the cheaper ones, I don't know. But anyway, buying used. Go to Char Music, you beginning violinists, you aspiring players, the violin. Char Music, and you go to the clearance instruments. Because Char has a deal. You get this instrument, you can trade it back in and get that cost out of it, and then add some money to it and get a better violin. Go to their clearance instruments, and right now they have, I believe, 2 concert series, well under $300. They might have an Amadeus, they might have a Prelude, I don't know. Things move pretty fast there. But if you were to go to Char, go to clearance instruments, get one of those, the best you can afford, because there's different levels of them. A used one, you're going to spend less than $300, and you can be assured that it has new strings on it, it's been polished, the setup has been checked, pegs have been checked. You're going to get a good violin for your money, and it's going to, again, punch way above its weight level. In summation, buying a violin on eBay is a gamble. You buy it from Eyes to Wiz, it's less of a gamble, but it's still a gamble. You're going to pay some money for it. But if you want an assured, lower cost violin, you want to have this guarantee, I'm going to like this violin, as a beginner. The tone isn't going to be so obnoxious, it's going to run everyone out of the house. Concert series, maybe the Amadeus, definitely the Prelude. Franz Hoffman, used, Char, that's all. Thank you for watching.